today we have come out with varied concepts of learning. It's all about a teacher collated revision notes. That is talking to us about a classroom dynamics, right from my gifted learner.
Right from the foundation level till the secondary level, which is actually 9, 10, 11 and 12 according to NEP 2020. So if we talk about these things, right from the foundation level we start all these things.
In today's world, parents are presented with way too many educational choices. International curricula, global exchange programs, multicultural learning environments, and overseas university pathways have become highly sought after features in schools. At the same time, there remains a strong desire for children to stay rooted in their local culture, values, languages, and societal context. This raises an important question. Do parents truly prioritize international exposure, or are they looking for a balanced educational experience that combines global competencies with local relevance? Good afternoon and a warm welcome. You're watching Think Tank, presented by My School Admission, powered by Education Today, along with our media partner, Education News Network. I'm your host, Nitya Krishnamurthy, and today's panel discussion explores a topic that is shaping educational choices across the country. International exposure versus local relevance. What do parents really want? With globalization largely influencing education, schools are required to prepare students for a world without borders, while ensuring they remain connected to their cultural identity and local realities. Parents today are facing a complex decision-making process. Should education prioritize global opportunities, or should it focus on preserving local values and contextual learning? More importantly, is it possible to achieve both? To discuss this evolving aspect of education, we are joined by two distinguished educational leaders. We have with us Dr. Nitya Satish, Principal of Akash International School, Bangalore. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
And joining us is Dr. Jain Sonal, Principal of Delhi Public International School, Bangalore. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you both for being here today. So let's begin the discussion. Dr. Nitya Satish, I'd like to start with you. In your experience, how have parental expectations evolved over the years when it comes to balancing international exposure with local cultural and educational relevance?
Thank you, madam, in the first place for having me in this very, very interesting panel, because it's talking about education for children, but we're talking about the understanding of parents. And that is because we are the decision makers about how we are presenting education today to the children for their learning and for their readiness for facing the global world. At the same time, we are talking about parents and their understanding of the educational system. In a wider perspective, the modern schools of today talks about a necessity for us to have a global awareness of the educational system. The system that is evolved with a curricula, the curricula being catered to by the teachers. A lot about teacher-related teaching strategies. And today, all of that is being poured into the child-centric learning. There comes the person to understand all about the system, the parents. In today's world of understanding, parents are of different orders. We talk about differentiated learners in a classroom. Extending that unto parents, we also actually face differentiated parents. That is the reality of schooling today. One, parents who are completely dependent on schools to lay the path forward for their children. The second edge is where a child is given a total freedom of choice of their education. The third segment are parents with a lot of awareness, a lot of deeper understanding with their own experiences, have nuances defined for their children, and that is what they place as a demand in schools today.
Right. So, Dr. Jain, coming to you, many parents aspire to provide their children with global opportunities while ensuring they remain grounded in their cultural roots. So, how can schools effectively strike this balance?
I think almost all the visions of all the schools generally, it says or it speaks more about this global citizenship actually. And shaping a child to global citizenship itself is a meaning, like the child should be globally adjusted everywhere in the societal trauma, or in the international concept, or in the national concept, or wherever the child has to survive. He has to take himself forward in that competition with the same confidence. So I think that is what is the main thing today. So I think moreover, all the schools, the vision, when I say global citizenship, half of the vision, whatever the school lays for the child is actually ready to face anything and everything tomorrow.
So schools are able to achieve this balance? Yes. Okay. So, Dr. Nithya, international exposure today extends beyond curriculum choices to include student exchanges, global collaborations, and cross-cultural learning experiences. So, which aspects of international exposure do parents value the most, and why is that?
That's simply because it's all about understanding global education system in the Indian context. Coming to the Indian context, as you rightfully have been talking to us about the culture, trying to be rooted, understanding our values and ethics, and as Madam very rightfully spoke to us about the vision. The challenges that school face today is all about the mission, the path that you define to achieve it. And when we are talking about parents and how schools are able to achieve it, is only through the student. The learning order of a child in itself will have to stand creditable to all the different new initiatives that the school is bringing in. When a child is able to perform, that is what a parent witnesses, and that becomes your happy schooling, or that becomes the higher order of learning. Anything and everything which is child-centric today, talking about the order of learning of a child in their different cycles of subjects, then the credibility of how they exhibit it, and a lot into their self-reflection, a lot about their self-reading, their self-confidence in presenting, all of that lays a path for us from the Indian schooling system to global exposure. When a child is able to perform all by himself and herself, that leads a child from an enquirer to an inquirer. From my learnings into the book, I'm able to be a creative thinker. I'm able to be that kind of a critical thinker. From here, you talk about innovative learnings, you talk about entrepreneurship, and today we just don't say a no to anything, but there is a lot of risk-taking attitude in all our children to just go out there and try all the new courses. From new courses, we are defining a lot of new professional dimensions. So today, the parents are ready to accept us because we understand in modern schooling, we don't exist independently. We exist in such a stage where we are ready to collaborate. You talk about different universities in India or abroad, we are ready to collaborate, we are ready to bring in the best talents as well as the best courses. When such is the order, right from our career guidance to our counseling sessions, we're able to strengthen all of this. And the promotion of learning in India is not necessarily to promote children to go abroad, but to give a big welcome of the global standards to come into India. I think this is the best balance that our parents truly like about us. When my child is able to experience this kind of a global environment in India, they will definitely ace it in any part of the world. I think that is all about international learning with Indian context.
Right. So on that note, I'd actually like to ask you, ma'am, parents often associate education with better opportunities for higher education abroad. So how can schools help parents understand that global competencies can be developed regardless of whether a student plans to study in India or overseas?
That again depends on the choice that the parents make. Now, if the parent are capable of, making their child go abroad and, survive over there for their career and even for the further studies and all, that is the stepping stone where the child will start thinking on his or her own, like, how should I move about my career? And when it comes to the parent, certain parents, they have their own expectation and they don't want to give that space to the child to think. There are two kinds of parents, as ma'am rightly said before also. Like, there are parents who wants to give total freedom to the child, let the child choose what he or she wants to become and where do they want to, make the road map towards the career. But there are even the parents, who don't want the child to go against the roadmap prepared by them for the child. Now, can you just tell me one thing? Let the child decide what he wants to become, because he is the one who has to survive.
So, as a school, ma'am, how do you handle this situation?
Actually, we talk about changes, which is constant. Like now, recently, AI, you hear this everywhere. In each and every career, also, the first option, anything integrated with AI is, happening, or this learning is more useful or better than whatever I was learning, yesterday. So, the students, they have their vision very clear. I think you should give the freedom to the students rather than the parents to think, how should I go about, in which skill I am better, or what is my specialty, and where can I survive, or where will I be an outstanding student, or where can I make my career, or where can I be at a better place.
So, Dr. Nithya, as schools adopt international pedagogies and global best practices, how important is it to contextualize learning with local realities, traditions, and societal needs?
Very, very important and nice, because you actually find a place for every other event, for every other celebration. That is like giving an open welcome for every student to definitely participate. Talking a lot about each and every child being a self-enquirer, being self-disciplined, self-focused, a lot on self-development. When you look at the opportunities that is being given, today it is all about the 360-degree holistic space of learning and teaching. We have moved a lot. It has gone beyond the scope of a teacher. And we are actually in the classrooms, we are ready to take up the challenges of the learning mind of a child. Today we have come out with varied concepts of learning. It's all about a teacher collated revision notes. That is talking to us about a classroom dynamics, right from my gifted learners to my above average performers, to my average performers, to my lower order learning skills of students, challenging it till about my higher order thinking skills. A classroom is a range from lots to hots. And for every single child, we are talking about individual education plans, the IEPs, or we are just talking about individual student development plans. So a teacher is actually beyond a subject matter expert. There are professional development courses for the teacher to upskill themselves as far as the subject is concerned, and then a lot into mentoring a teacher. The mentoring of the teacher as a facilitator, as a guide. Apart from the academic roles of a teacher as an evaluator, as a guide, it moves on to relate with a child, understanding a child's well-being. So today schools have moved up with something called as wellness calls, and the wellness calls happen in a cycle of one call per month. So a 10-month or an 11-month cycle, the parent actually lands up getting some 10 to 11 calls that talks about the holistic development of a child, identifying their interests, their aspects, giving them their roadmap to achieve their career path, which we take it up as a counseling path with the parents, and we strike this parallel balance.
This must be very effective, I'm sure. It's very important.
100%. So this is where we actually bridge the gap and try to place it in such a way that we are in a triangular series where the school is a connecting place that gets the understanding of the teacher, of the student, into the minds of the parents, and we are trying to place it in such a cyclic fashion. I have an understanding, we are trying to get you all the experts into the same forte, try to channelize a child's thought, and then it's all about a parent's understanding in helping a child to achieve that particular career path. I think this itself breaks the kind of a clash point that exists between the parents and the students, in fact.
I really like the concept of wellness calls. Thank you for that. Dr. Jain, do you believe parents today are increasingly seeking a glocal approach to education, one that combines global competencies with strong local identity?
Yes, of course. I feel so, because as ma'am rightly said about individual learning concept, which is implemented in all the schools today. One thing is, we have career counselor, we have mental health and well-being counselor, we have wellness teachers. So we are tracking the child from all the directions. We have individual record of individual children, like what they want to become in their career, how they want to go with it, or what should I do now, this is where I am lagging. So how should I overcome these kind of challenges? Who will help me out for this? Why shouldn't I take a step forward to take a support from the counselor or any kind of thing which is child, where the child feels better about it. Like say suppose if we talk about subject enrichment programs in the school also, today if the child is very much interested in science and he has made up his mindset, like no, my career will be in future to become a scientist or to go forward with becoming a pilot or somewhere, where he stands or he needs a support, he 100% asks the question to the counselor that how should I achieve this? This is what I want to become, this is what I'm good at, and this is where I'm lagging. Can you tell me how to overcome this and how to bridge the gap? So, this is very nice that a child himself or herself, they understand, they work on it, they come out of it, and they move towards it. And this is very good thing that they have learned how to self-introspect themselves rather than, being judged by the society. Or I think societal pressure is the main thing which the child is facing today. Because one thing what I feel is the parents are always comparing their little ones with the better one. The little one with the better one, why is your little one is not the best one? Why don't you feel so? And try to see something good in that and try to develop that instead of comparing and pulling the child's confidence level down. I think we need to work over there. The children are more focused today, I feel. In fact, they know what they want. We feel that no, they don't know anything and we have to know. These were the olden days actually. Yes. Now they already know what they want and they are very much focused.
That's really good to know.
Yeah.
Today, the learning journey of a child begins as early as the prayer hour or the assembly hour. Today, the assembly hours are not just talking about the school prayer, talking about reading domestic news and international news or sports, business news and so on. But it's a lot about self-introspection. When you're talking about it, today we move on. Teacher as leaders. We have something incorporated called as the teacher lead talk, where values, ethics and these moral values are being discussed. The second point, we also move with student super performance. That's for a child to come out with their rare talents. So your talent search actually begins early in the morning and during the assembly hours itself, giving a child a lot of individual space. That can mean anything, talking about an instrument of their choice or talking about their singing practices or talking about their sporting activities. From there, we move on to understand the student power talk. I am passionate to talk about a particular topic. I don't need a debate space to talk about for or against. I'm passionate. I am going to be the influencer for the day. I am going to set your mindset for the day. And that's how my child gets a dais or a stage space with a mic and the audience in the assembly for the student power talk. From there, we move on to relate it with a parent. And the parent is invited to present their parent view about career focus, from classrooms to career. So it's about welcoming a child and the child says, my dad is here to talk about this. And my dad is a doc here. My dad is working as an engineer here. My dad is doing this particular profession, and the dad talks about, or the mom talks about their career pathway, what has been my line of education, where exactly did I have a deviation, and what do I suggest the younger generation children to take up as their career focus. What age should you actually start thinking about your focus and your plans? That's going to lead your pathway into international standards of education.
That's a very important point. What age?
That is enriching them from any grassroots level. Then it also moves on to talk about alumni students. give them a welcome. Any senior of yours is just an alumni student. They come back with a lot of reality check. If you're talking about 2026, today in June, my child is going to talk to you about her or his career focus. What has been the different order of examinations? How should your readiness be? From when should you really start converting your dream into reality, which means there is no substitute to hard work. Your planning for self-study begins here. Start asking for the awareness programs. That's been the demand and the need, and each and every school is catering to it, for which we are ready to reach out to parents. We walk to corporates asking for corporate social responsibility programs. We welcome industries. We also get our tie-up with international universities, and we give them a welcome to walk into the campus. So we are always connected.
Right. So, Dr. Jain, I'd like to ask you, with increasing access to global content through technology and AI, like you just said, do schools still need to create structured international exposure programs, or can meaningful global learning happen within the classroom itself?
Right from the beginners level, I'm just talking about the foundation level, right from the foundation level till the secondary level, which is actually 9, 10, 11 and 12 according to NEP 2020. So if we talk about these things, right from the foundation level, we start all these things, entrepreneurship, leadership programs, and the child, as we say, it is child-centric program. He is the center of attraction. He wants to do something. It's always hands-on activity. It is always experiential learning. It is always more of, focus on how will I do. Creative thinking, innovation in learning methodology, all such kind of things. If you see, it is right from the foundation level. It is not like the way we learnt, capital A and small a. Over, that's all. Today he has various dimensions to learn, even the alphabet in the classroom, and even the numbers are taught in such a kind of a way where he thinks about entrepreneurship, he thinks about how to margin his money.
Yes.
Financial literacy, if we talk about, right from grade 1, the child knows how to save, the child knows where to invest, the child knows how to go about it. They have such a kind of exposure each and everywhere. I think the math teacher talks about it, the clubs talk about it. The school club is very important actually. I'll tell you, they get a lot of exposure over here, and they talk a lot among themselves about all these things, what they do or what is their interest, what is the hobby they have maintained, how do they come up in their career with using all such kind of things. We are very happy that we feel very satisfied that the schools are not like our era. This is like Gen Z.
Yes.
And we really believe that.
So these are the actual skills and mindsets they need at a young age in order to emerge as global citizens.
Yes. And what I want is, today the school is focusing more on R1, R2, R3, this problem, that problem. I think keep all those side apart. What should the child learn? First focus on that. What the child wants to learn, what should the child learn, what should be the take home of the child. So we are not focusing on all these kind of things. We are more focused on the things which is getting implemented every day. I don't think so. If we talk about the pressure, why do we talk about R1, R2, R3? We know that the language is the mean of communication. The child is good at English because certainly, yes, when he enters the school, he encounters only one thing: good morning, ma'am. Right from the day start. So till the day ends, the child knows how to survive internationally. Right. And this is what I think schools are doing. They are preparing, the students for tomorrow's world. And right, as ma'am said, right from the assembly time till the time, that is 7 hours, I think this child spends 7 hours in the school. He learns how should I survive at any kind of place with any kind of challenges. That's all the school has to teach.
Yes, absolutely. I think you've answered my next question, which was, can a school be globally competitive without adopting an international curriculum? I think you just answered that. It can, right? Thanks. So I'd like to ask both of you this question. What do you believe will define a truly future-ready education system? International exposure, local relevance, or a thoughtful integration of both? Dr. Jain, could you go first, please?
I think integration of both. Integration of both, because see, when we talk about values, certainly we want, the hand of parent also, to be happy, who are the main stakeholders. So let it go hand in hand. Let's not deviate it from only the child focused and all this. We have to keep ultimately each and every person happy. And yeah, the main happiness is for the child. I know that it is of the child, but then to, the parents who have dreamt, those things cannot be deviated, right? That is also very important.
Parents who have dreamt and educators who know what's best.
Most of the time the parents say that I couldn't do this. I want my son or my daughter to achieve this. I'm working on this, ma'am. I want my daughter to, go through NEET. Yes, the child, if has taken something like, if I want to become a doctor and I have to hold a scalpel in my hand, I have to undergo this NEET. And there's nothing to get scared about it. Only if I pass through that test, I can hold the scalpel well. Isn't it? Can we filter all this kind of thing? People say NEET is not necessary. No, NEET is necessary, because it's certainly a life what you're dealing with in future. Right? Yes. You have to filter the children, filter the students. You have to take the best out of it and then, convert them into the suitable profession, whatever they are good into. Otherwise, we'll never have good doctors and surgeons also, isn't it? Right, 100%. I don't think so. Doctor is a profession where, each and every child will not opt for. Yeah. The child who has the guts to, go through this test of NEET, can hold the scalpel, will become a surgeon, yes, will become a future leader also.
The aptitude and attitude is essential for any profession.
For any kind of profession. And I think undergoing any kind of assessment, right, self-introspection is very, very important in today's era. We cannot actually close our eyes saying that, we should not give the pressure. No, this is like, self-introspection. I should know whether I'm good at it or not. Unnecessarily, I don't want to waste my so many years of on this kind of a career which I am not good at, which only, my parents are forcing, or the society is forcing me to become. So, let it
be like the child's dream, but the educators, I think, play a role in identifying it.
100%. And when we identify, we ask them and we motivate them to, go through all these kind of things. Let them go for the child, when he goes for TOEFL exam, whether he goes for SATs or whether he goes for IELTS, don't you think so that there is someone who is preparing?
Of course. No, I'm a journalist today and I owe it to my English teacher from school. She's the one who told me to pursue.
That is the reason. She identified something. She knows what you're good at. So she has motivated you to become, and today you're sitting on this chair. Mm-hmm. That is, I think, thanks to your teacher.
Of course, I always tell her this. Yes.
And here also, as ma'am said rightly, that we have individual learning system in today's school. We don't have the system of, focusing on 40 and 50 and just listen to us and this is your study. It is always come on, talk, interact. It is always, we inculcate the habit of questioning. We encourage them to question us. And we love to do that, we love to clarify their answers, their doubts, and further, with more clarity when they come out, they really shine a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. I have answered. Yes, you have, absolutely. Dr. Nithya, would you like to answer the same question?
Definitely. And I also side ma'am on this particular point of aspect that I'm in total agreement with. Having a nice integrated move towards this is the way for us to move forward. That's simply because bringing in the aspects of the parents into the minds of the children is what our career or guidance pathway is all about. And today, I think the modern schools are all trying to achieve it in their own standards and fashion. All about we contributing to building the career portfolio of a child in the schooling dimension. And that's about identifying the interests of a child and then proposing it to the parents, or integrating the plans of the parents with a support system for the child to achieve it, for which we are open for anything and everything, be it about student exchange programs to any part of the learning system of the globe, or even to have teacher exchange programs is like bringing in the global aspects into the Indian concepts. And this is all about, talk about a simple no bag day. I think that is actually called as a super Saturday. You're talking about academics, which is like an academic extended drive, or you're talking about sporting Saturday, you're talking about a field trip Saturday, or you're talking about my activity-based learning Saturday. The Saturday itself can have so many different connotations to it, for which there's a lot of readiness of the teacher. That readiness comes when we are actually extending and expanding our wings to all the professionals to bring all the necessary dimensions under one roof. As a result, we are keeping our children global ready. You talk on professional lines, you talk on lines of education, we are keeping our platforms ready for that particular program of order. So this is integrating the thoughts of the parents with the children and the schools. Yes.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. On that note, we conclude today's discussion. Thank you both for sharing your valuable perspectives with us today.
Thank you, madam, for having us here.
Thank you so much. So what emerges clearly from this conversation is that the debate between international exposure and local relevance is not necessarily about choosing one over the other. Parents today seek an educational experience that equips children with global competencies while nurturing a strong sense of identity, cultural awareness, and social responsibility. The schools that will thrive in the future are likely to be those that successfully bridge these two worlds, preparing students to compete and collaborate on a global stage while remaining deeply connected to their communities, values, and heritage. Thank you for watching Think Tank, presented by My School Admission, powered by Education Today, with our media partner Education News Network. If you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more conversations with leading educators. We'd also love to hear your thoughts. When choosing a school, what matters more to you? International exposure, local relevance, or the right balance of both? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, this is Nitya Krishnamurthy signing off.